Hey everybody, this is Brian.
Jason.
And this is the Perfectly Screwed podcast. Okay, shit.
Part 3.
Yeah, part 3 of BTK. So if you haven't listened to part 1 and 2, go to the back, go back.
Go to the back. Go to the back of the room.
Yeah. And go
I'm going to turn off I'm going to turn on the projector and we're going to watch parts 1 and 2 of the BTK Perfectly Screwed podcast. If you just go to the back, everybody, safely.
that was almost a shot. No, if you go to back to the first 2 episodes before this, you'll get part 1 and 2. Anyways, before we get back into BTK, I wanted to mention the thing that's happening with Elon Musk.
What's that?
And MAGA. You haven't heard? Okay,
no.
So Elon Musk is an advisor for Donald Trump, which the acronym for their organization in the government, which really isn't an organization yet, it's just kind of a think tank or what have you, but the acronym spells cake. So, and they chose the name just to spell cake. But besides all that stupidity, Elon Musk believes...
I like cake.
Yeah, so does Elon.
Yeah.
So Elon Musk believes that we should be issuing more H1B visas.
What's that?
Which, if you don't know what an H1B visa is, it's a visa for foreign people to come over, mostly Indians, some Chinese, but mostly Indians do it. It's for specialized jobs. And the thing about H1Bs is that if you lose your job under this visa, you have to leave the country. You have to go back and start all over again. So it gives the immigrant a very high motivation to keep their job. But it's usually for specialist jobs like engineers and designers and people of that nature from other countries where the education system is much better, and therefore they're much more qualified for those type of high-level technological positions than in America.
Right. But we'll let you into America, but you're coming over here to do a job.
Right. Yeah, that's basically what an H-1B is. So he was on Twitter saying we should issue way more of these. And he loves them and this and that. Well, that pissed MAGA off because, you know, there's some racist assholes, most of the MAGA are. And they're like, oh, they're taking our jobs! They're taking our jobs!
South Park episode.
Right, yeah.
They took our jobs!
They took our jobs!
Right.
Right. So they got on Twitter all pissed off about it, talking shit to Elon. And they said, well, why can't you give those jobs to Americans? And it was the greatest response I've ever read in my life. Elon Musk goes, well, you're too stupid to do these jobs.
Right.
I started rolling.
100%.
He basically said, it's not our fault that the education system here in America, he said, look, your guys' college education is their high school education. He said, their college education far outweighs anything you're ever going to do. He said you would have to have like 3 doctorates to come close to what these people can do. Yeah. He said, and then MAGA came back and said, you South African piece of shit, because Elon was born in South Africa. So they started throwing racist comments and Elon Musk calling him an African and he doesn't deserve any post in America and this and that. You know?
I mean, is Musk human?
I don't know. I think he's a... Dude, I think he's an Atlantean, I really do. Or he's as close as we're going to get anyways. But yeah, he is from South Africa, so there's a big controversy right now between MAGA and old Elon. They're all pissed off at each other.
No,
old civil war in the Trump cabinet there.
What I do find fascinating is the...
I can't believe he called him stupid. That's the funny.
Right, that's funny.
Said you're dumb.
What I find fascinating going on right now, though, is... an Arctic blast flowing through the Midwest.
Yeah.
Also, raging wildfires in California at the same time. How crazy? That's crazy.
Oh. The poles are shifting, bud. I mean...
Well, whatever it is. Whatever. But, like, dude.
I mean, the poles are shifting from... and this is actually a really odd thing.
Fire. I can't even imagine fire, though, man.
Yeah. Yeah, raging wildfire.
Just coming through your neighborhood, just fire.
Well, I mean, you got to think they live in the middle of a fucking desert,
I
man.
get it.
So
I
mean, you know, when you live in the middle
I'm just
of a
saying,
desert,
it's crazy to think about.
Well, yes. So back to BTK. We were talking about, to catch you up on the last episode, we were talking about Anna Williams and how she escaped death because she was at her friend's house and he got all butthurt and pissed off about it. So that's who we were speaking about the last time we were talking about him. So we're moving on to his next murder, and that was...
yeah, because he gets butthurt
yeah,
when things don't go as planned.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
He's like, all this shit is happening to me. And he said this in a later interview. He said that he can't believe that all his murders didn't go to plan.
So, like, this dude's the definition of premeditated murder.
Yeah, yeah. He premeditated it.
Like, he has a blueprint of it in his mind.
Yeah, and it never works out the way he wants.
It's like Tesla would, like, invent shit and get the blueprints in his mind.
Yeah.
Just like, they're just building something a little bit different.
Yeah, he can't believe it's not working out for him. It's bullshit, Jason.
Yeah.
It's
really
bullshit.
fucking aggravating.
It would be. I mean, you go through all this planning to kill this bitch, and then she doesn't even have the fucking
common
courtesy to come over when she's supposed to. No, she spends all night at her friend's house. It's almost like he was on a date with her. He's like, look, I waited for this bitch, we had plans, and she doesn't even have the common courtesy to send a text.
No, you ain't got to tell me. I mean, the more I fucking listen to the story, the more I'm on the side of BTK. I mean, this bitch deserved to die.
Well, she didn't. She got away with it. So,
right.
The next one was Maureen Hedge, 53, and she was found on May 5th, 1985, at East 53rd Street in North Wichita, between North Webb Road and North Greenwood. Oh my God. Okay. We have a game on the podcast. It's called the drinking game. If I fuck up a word, or do what I just did, which was completely stumble over the word, please take a shot, and that would be number one for all of you counting. So please take a shot of your favorite beverage. By the way, speaking of beverages, I'm going to go off topic just a second because we're talking about drinking. Have you tried, and you can call me a basic white bitch all you want after I say this because it's the most basic white bitch thing to say in the world, but have you... Do you know rum chata has a pumpkin spice?
Really?
Yes, and it's delicious. Delicious?
No,
fucking excellent, excellent.
I'm not a drinker.
Well, yeah, that's true. You're a smoker.
Not a drinker.
Yeah. I don't drink very much, but that rum chata pumpkin spice is excellent. I recommend it for everybody. And rum chata, if you'd like to send us a little money for this promo, we'd be more than happy to cash any check that you might give us, just so you know.
Yeah, if I'm drinking, it's a special occasion, and I'm trying to get drunk, and I don't like any alcohol. It all tastes fucking terrible. It's awful. How anybody...
That's where you and I differ. I like whiskey.
It's one of those things that just absolutely baffles me, man.
I love the taste.
That someone was the first. Someone was the first to make it.
Yeah.
And that baffles me because it's such a process. And it's such a... like whiskey or any fucking hard liquor, you know what I mean?
Well, it's actually not that hard of a process.
It's such a poison, though. And it's...
Yeah, but it's been made since before, basically, as far back as you can go, alcohol's been made.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to make, really, in essence. If you leave fruit juice sitting around long enough, it turns into alcohol.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the Vikings had mead, which was, you know, yeast and honey, basically, which actually is quite delicious. And, you know, beer has been made for, you know, hundreds of thousands of years, so, you know, it's been made ever since the beginning of time. You know, ever since...
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, somebody was the first to...
Well, you know...
But that's
I mean, mead
wild.
and original wine isn't too bad if you drink it.
Who knew?
But it depends on the taste. It depends on your taste buds. Like me, I love the taste of whiskey. Some people like you can't stand alcohol.
Oh, no.
I love it. Like the taste of a good scotch is brilliant. You know, I drink it straight all the time. You know, if I drink, but I don't drink that often. But anyways, back to BTK. So she was on North Greenwich Road. Jesus. Rader had killed her on April 27th and took her body to Christian Lutheran Church, where he was the president of the church council. At the church, he photographed her body in various sexual suggestive positions. Rader had previously stored black plastic sheets and other materials at the church in preparation for her murder, and then he dumped her body in a remote ditch. And this shows actually his first variation in, this one's important because it shows a variation in his murder style. I mean, most of his murders up until this point, he never took the body, he didn't pose the body, he didn't take photos, he just bound, tortured, and killed them at their home and left them, yes, in sexually positioned poses, but at the house. He never went to this degree to take the person. And,
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
yeah, he took her to a church, the church he worked at.
But you know, a fucking dead body ain't fucking easy to maneuver.
No, no.
So he's loading her up, taking her to the church, unloading her.
Yeah. Posing
her.
And on the pulpit there, bent over like a dirty nun.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking whore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And taking pictures.
And then loading her
dumping
back
her in
up.
a ditch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some crazy shit.
So it did, yeah. It took a lot of work, but it shows that his modus operandi was changing during this time. So the next one is...
right. If the police were to get a psychic investigator, they might think it was two different killers, is what we're saying.
Yeah, they might.
Yeah.
You never know, especially the police
Psychics
department.
are smart, man.
So he waited almost a year between this one and, well, not quite a year, but this was May of '85, actually over a year, because the next one was September of '86. So yeah, he waited a long time in between these murders here. And this was Vicki Lynn Wedgier, 28, and he strangled her to death with a nylon stocking at her house in Wichita. He entered the residence by pretending to be a telephone repairman. After the murder, he rearranged her clothes and took a number of photographs of her nude body. So again, we're seeing a progression here. He didn't bring a kit with him on this one. He again took photos of the nude person, you know, the nude body and everything. So again, we're seeing a progression of his crimes. He also, this is the first time he just didn't break and enter the home. He actually pretended to be a telephone repairman.
Yeah.
So he's kind of amping up how he's doing it, trying different styles, see what best fits, you know, experimenting.
Practice makes perfect.
It's what all artists do, Jay.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. So the next one, he waited actually a few years on this one. The next one was in '91.
Damn.
From '86 to '91, he didn't do anything. And this was his actual final victim, which was Dolores D. Davis. She was 62 and the oldest victim. Rader killed her by strangling her with her pantyhose. Again, he took pictures of her. So there's a few that he suspected of, but they couldn't pin down. Two more, and these were in Oklahoma and Missouri, but he was the prime suspect. Cynthia Dawn, 16, she left a laundromat and she got into a faded beige 1965 Plymouth. Rader was identified as the prime suspect after it was determined that he was involved in a Boy Scouting event in the area, and it was learned that Rader had included the phrase "bad wash day" in his writings talking about Cynthia. A bank was also having new ADT alarms installed across the street from the laundromat, which Rader was doing at the time that she was kidnapped. He also claimed later on to have fantasized about kidnapping a girl from a laundromat. He denied involvement in the murder, but they believe that was because he didn't want to be tried in Oklahoma and potentially given the death penalty. Because where he was, in Kansas, there was no death penalty at the time that he was tried. But in Oklahoma there was. So if he had admitted to killing the girl, then he could have been tried in Oklahoma also, and Oklahoma could have gave him the death penalty, whereas Kansas could not have.
Right.
So because he wanted to, you know,
avoid it.
So by 2004, the investigation of the BTK killer was considered a cold case. They had no idea who he was or what had happened because he had stopped in 1991. However, Rader initiated a series of 11 communications to local media, which led directly to his arrest in February of 2005. And again, we talked about this in the last episodes. Between 91 and 2004, he had quit murdering. And he had started going around asking younger people, hey, you know who BTK is? Hey, this and that.
Right.
And the publicity around him had died down to the point where he just couldn't have that. He couldn't have it, Jason.
No.
He couldn't deal with the fact that people had forgot about him. And so he started up again a little media thing, sending letters and shit to local media outlets going, hey, you're not going to forget about me, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Hey, if you make me go kill again, I will. I don't want to. But if you make me come out of retirement, god damn it.
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
But I'll do it.
But
I'll do it.
you guys need to know who I am.
Yeah. Can't forget about the old BTK. So, in March of 2004, the Wichita Eagle received a letter from someone using the name Bill Thompson Killman.
Beautiful.
Good name for him.
Bill Kill.
Bill Kill. Claiming that he murdered Vicky Wegerle in 1986. Enclosed with the message were photographs of the crime scene and a photocopy of Wegerle's driver's license, which had been stolen at the time of the crime. Prior to this message, it had not been definitively established that Wegerle was killed by BTK. DNA collected from under her fingernails provided police with previously unknown evidence. They began DNA testing hundreds of men in an effort to find the killer. Altogether, more than 1,300 DNA samples were taken and later destroyed by court order. So in May 2004, KAKE received a letter with a chapter headings for the BTK story, fake IDs, and a word puzzle. Then on June 9th, a package was found taped to a stop sign at the corner of 1st and Kansas Road in Wichita, which contained graphic descriptions of the Otero murders and a sketch labeled "The Sexual Thrill Is My Bill."
The sexual thrill is my bill.
Also enclosed was a chapter list for a proposed book that he was going to write titled My BTK Story, which mimicked a story written in 1999 by Core TV writer David Lohr. Chapter 1 was titled A Serial Killer is Born. You can't make this shit up. So in July, he drops a package off in a return slot at a public library containing more bizarre material, including the claim that BTK was responsible for the death of 19-year-old Jake Allen in Argonia, Kansas earlier that month. This claim was false, and that death was ruled a suicide. After his capture, Rader admitted in his interrogation that he had been planning to kill again, that he had set a date of October 2004 and was stalking his intended victim. That month, a manila envelope was dropped in a UPS box in Wichita. It contained many cards with images of terror and bondage on children pasted to them. a poem threatening the life of lead investigator Lieutenant Ken Landwehr, and a false autobiography with many details about Rader's life. These details were released to the public in December 2004. Wichita police received another package from the killer. This time the package was found in Wichita's Mudrock Park. It contained the driver's license of Nancy Fox, which was noted as stolen from the crime scene, as well as a doll that was symbolically bound at the hands and feet with a plastic bag tied over its head. In January 2005, Rader attempted to leave a cereal box in the bed of a pickup truck at a Home Depot in Wichita, but the box was thrown away by the truck's owner. It was later retrieved from the trash after Rader asked what had become of it in a later message. Surveillance tape of the parking lot from that date revealed a distant figure driving a black Jeep Cherokee, leaving the box in the pickup. In February 2005, more postcards were sent to KAKE, and another cereal box left at a rural location found to contain another bound-up doll. In letters to police, Rader asked if his writings were put on a floppy disk, if they could be traced or not. The police answered his question in a newspaper and posted in the Eagle saying it would be safe to use the disk. On February 16, 2005, Rader sent a purple 1.44 megabyte Memorex floppy disk to Wichita Station TV. Also encoded was a letter, a gold collar necklace with a large medallion, and a photocopy of the cover of Rules of Prey, a 1989 novel about a serial killer. Rader stored different documents on the floppy disk in metadata, and it contained the words Christian Lutheran Church, and the document was marked as last modified by Dennis.
What the fuck?
An internet search the police did showed that Dennis Rader was president of the church council. When investigators drove by Rader's house, a black Jeep Cherokee, the type of vehicle seen in the Home Depot footage, was parked outside. This was strong circumstantial evidence against Rader. They obtained a warrant with the circumstantial evidence, and a pap smear was taken from Rader's daughter at Kansas State University Medical Clinic. DNA test showed a familial match between the pap smear and the samples from Wegler's fingernails. This indicated that the killer was closely related to Rader's daughter, and combined with other evidence was enough for police to arrest Rader. So this is how he got arrested.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But and obviously they gave him 10 consecutive life sentences for everything he did. But the funny part is, it's almost like at the end there, he was trying to get caught. It was almost like he wanted people to know. He just desperately needed people to know, hey, I'm him.
Yeah.
I'm him. It's me, motherfucker.
Right.
Because he was such a narcissist and such a psychopath that he had to be known for what he did. He could not let, himself get away with it.
Yeah.
Because he was afraid that he would fade into infamy and nobody would ever remember BTK and remember Rader.
How old was he when he got arrested?
In his 50s.
Yeah.
So.
No,
like
for sure. I
58.
mean, yeah. Like I said, I mean, it feels like the cat and mouse game with the police.
Yeah. He gave them the evidence
with just
to catch
as much
him.
as a motivating factor as the killing itself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because he had to be caught. That's the only
thrill.
way. Yeah, that's the only way he could get famous.
That's, yeah. Like,
He had to.
Like you said, he
cared more about the fame than he did actually getting away with what he did.
He didn't want his life to end
Without somebody knowing.
without people knowing
What I did.
Yeah.
That I'm BTK. I'm the guy who did this.
100%.
Yeah. And he had to be famous. And that's why he's done so many interviews since then also.
Yeah.
With different reporters, and there's been books written about him because he wants everybody until the day he dies.
Movies.
Yeah, he
TV
wants everybody
shows.
to remember Dennis Rader was BTK. Not only was Dennis Rader BTK, but I was so smart that you couldn't catch me, motherfuckers, until I gave you the evidence on a floppy disk that said who I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the other thing. He wanted everybody to know I'm the smartest motherfucker in the room.
Yeah, because he didn't have to label
anything
on that disc with the church's name or his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He did that on purpose so that they would catch him. Well, not only that, he admitted to all the murders in open court. He didn't even, look, he pled guilty to all this. He didn't go through the trial phase and everything. He admitted to every murder he did, outlined it, and made sure that there were cameras in the courtroom to film him while he was outlining everything he did.
Yeah.
Because he wanted everybody to know I did it. It was me. I'm the man.
Yeah, he's a crazy motherfucker.
I'm the man.
Yeah.
I'm not letting all this preparation and all this work that I put in go to waste, goddammit. You're going to remember Dennis fucking Rader.
You guys have clearly forgotten.
Yeah, but you're going to remember.
You're going to know today.
Yeah, who the hell BTK was, bitch. Yeah, because look at all the work I've done. You guys just want to push it off like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And it was. Through his whole crime spree, it was almost like that. He got pissed when people didn't show up on time. Like, you know. It was all, everybody had to know he was the mastermind and he was the genius.
He's the man.
I guess. Well, anyways, this was our final episode on BTK and old Dennis Rader. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.
Later.